What is up, guys? This is JT. I got one of these Bosch. See if I can see what it is. It's the 1617 EVS router with the fixed base and the plunge base, and I was just doing like a little test, little piece. What'd you do with that piece? I was just doing a little test project and just made a little kind of a picture frame, and I was like in the middle of routing it, which, by the way, it doesn't route very well around staples. Yeah, I learned that one the hard way. But I was just testing out my saw to see if it would do 45s, but whatever. You're gonna need to take these two top screws out. They're a T15, but since I didn't have a T15, I used, I'm not sure what millimeter is exactly, but I have these Craftsman with this type of tip on them. They're kind of like a rollover tip where you can do them at different angles. And I actually took it out with the wrong thing because I don't have a long bit. You're gonna need a long one to get down in there. And as you can see, these extensions, they don't fit. So they design these things crazy for a reason. But I'm gonna make sure I don't lose these screws. We'll put them right here. My son likes to pick stuff up and stick it in his mouth, so don't want to do that. But I actually bypassed the switch, pulling it out of here. You can look up other videos on how to pull it out. It's not very hard. Literally, there's two little springs that hold this end, and it gets really dirty in there, and the sawdust is what's causing it. But to bypass it, to check and see if your motor and everything is still good. Oh, that was live. That was dangerous. But yeah, it still works. Obviously, that was completely dangerous. Don't leave your tools plugged in. Learning lesson. But anyways, the switch itself, people buy these, they just buy new ones and replace them. But I just decided to grab my razor knife, and literally all you gotta do is these 4 little holes. Each one of these holes, just kind of pry the little tab out, and it'll pop out. What you have inside is just a simple rock back and forth pivot point with this little metal piece right here, and it's got a contact point right there. So if it's dirty, clean it. Use a fine sandpaper or something like that. Use a dielectric grease if you've got any. I don't have any. I'm just going to put it together and see if it works. But pretty much clean all the sawdust out. That's what was really what was wrong with it that I could see. And other than that, I need to clean the base of that where it actually contacts so that it's making a electrical contact. You can kind of see a little bit of dielectric grease. That's what you really need to use, because it'll still make contact, and then this thing just slides back and forth and rocks it. So that's how it works. So what I'm going to do is take my Q-tip that I just lost, and I'm going to clean this really well so it contacts. Then we're going to put it back together and see what happens. Okay, here we go. I just cleaned it a little bit, made sure there was no sawdust. I'm just going to slap it back together. And you should probably pay attention to which way it went, 'cause I'm not really sure. So I'm just going to put it together this way.
Anyhow, figure it out.
Snap it back together.
I don't know.
Ugh.
But as far as cleaning up.
If I can. Okay, let me pause this.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a little ahead of myself. There is a little tab. I don't know if you can see it.
Like what I did on mine.
Little tab right there.
No.
And then there's a tab on the edge of this.
See, when I did mine, I did
that you need to line up, so you can't really put it together wrong. But I didn't see it at first, so that was my fault. Let's pop that back in. Okay, for sure, this one that's bent over like this that you have to connect this black wire to, it goes to the right, and this is somewhat difficult to do, but you have to get close enough to where you can hook it back up and then hook it back up and stuff this back in, and it's just got these little plastic like spring tabs to hold it in. Might want to vacuum this out first, actually, so I'm gonna do that and then I'll come back. Okay, one thing I forgot to do is actually show you that the switch didn't work, but you'll just have to take my word for it. Otherwise, why would I have took this apart? And I also checked it with this to make sure I wasn't getting connection. So put it back together, cleaned it, got the sawdust out. Pretty much all I did was take sawdust out. That is all it took. You don't have to buy a new switch. You don't have to do anything. Just get in there and clean the sawdust out. And while you're in here, vacuum it out. I don't have my vacuum, or I would. Hopefully the blower motor will just blow it out. But let's get this back together. That's pretty much it. So you don't have to spend a dime. Well, maybe for a Q-tip. That's what I used, a Q-tip. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.